Hey y'all, welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be talking about datura. And now, I have taken datura and I also have two friends who have taken datura. So I'm going to tell you all three of our stories. I mean, they're all very different. I think a reason they're so different. I personally took mine in T form. They took theirs in seed form. But upon doing more research about it, as I've gotten older, we definitely took more than we should have. So that can also explain some things. Sorry, my kitty's right there. She's being crazy. Anyways, so we'll start with my story. So when I took it, I was the first one out of all my friends to take it. Me and my one friend, we took it because he had a plant growing by his school where he was able to just get the seeds. And he was like, yo, I got datura seeds, you want to do this? I was like, yeah, let's do it. So I got to his house. We mixed them up into some tea, probably about, I don't know, 600-700 seeds, which looking at, like, most people say they do like 50 for a trip. So probably went a little excessive, but we did about 600 seeds in that tea, made a tea, tried to drink it straight. Bitter, disgusting. So we're like, what do? We figured it out. We mixed it with chai tea. Still tasted terrible. That did not help. We thought it was gonna change everything. No, we just, slammed this tea. It tasted terrible. Now we're waiting for it to kick in because it takes about an hour or two to kick in. So we're like, all right, let's play some Modern Warfare 2. And not the new Modern Warfare 2. I hate how there's like two of them, makes it confusing, but the old one, with like the special op missions. Yeah, that one. So we were playing that, the special op missions. I remember like, we were playing for about an hour or two. We were trying to do the stealth missions, and we were trying to do them like without anybody even detecting us. So 100% stealth, which is not very easy. If any of you have ever played that game, it takes some talent to do that. And we also had it on the hardest mode because, challenge. Anyways, by this point, once we're playing, like we're starting to get where the screen's just getting blurry. And we're like, okay, we're gonna turn that off and just turn on some music because we can't watch this screen. So now it's starting to kick in. Everything's starting to get kind of vibrate-y. All the walls, the texture, everything's vibrating. He has like some trippy posters. They're kind of just like moving a little, spirals shaking. Everything's just vibrating and moving a bit. And we're like, okay, cool. After about an hour of starting to feel his effects, now we're at the point where I can't read my phone. Like if someone sent me a text or anything, I can't read it without holding my phone inches from my face. I mean, like one eye had to be pressed against the phone to read anything because everything else, at any distance, everything was blurry. And that effect lasted for about 36 hours, which was a little scary. I was like, did I just lose my vision? But, so we took that, we're having that. There's dancing shadows going around. I didn't have any crazy hallucinations personally, but just like shadows, vibrations, and all words were blurs. I mean, I could not read words unless I was right next to them. So anyways, we did that, and this is whenever the cotton mouth starts hitting. Your mouth just starts getting drier and drier and drier. You always have a little spit? Yeah, that all starts fading down to nothing. I mean, you could touch your tongue and it was dry. You could touch anywhere in your mouth, it was dry. So we're like, what do? We'll drink some water. Drink the water. The moment you finish your last gulp of water and swallow, your mouth is dry again. So you drink another glass of water, your mouth is dry again. Worst cotton mouth I've ever experienced. I mean, you could not eat anything. If you tried to eat, it would not go down because you had no spit. Your body was not producing spit, which was an interesting fact. Like, I've smoked a lot of weed in my time. I've never had a cotton mouth as bad as the datura cotton mouth. It was insane. Yeah, I just remember my mouth being so dry, so dry. We were drinking all this water, trying to make it go away. Nothing helped. Vibration. So yeah, that was kind of my experience. The next day, I still couldn't read text. I couldn't read text until the day after the trip. But we also took it at about 6 p.m. It's a trip that's supposed to last for about 24 hours. So that's probably a big portion. I was like that. I would not recommend doing this drug either. After we did it, we did more research. It is a nightshade plant. Like, it is poison. So it's probably not the safest one to try. But it was a neat experience. I mean, I don't regret doing it. Definitely glad I experienced it at some point. I don't know if I'd ever do it again because that cotton mouth was terrible. I really hated the cotton mouth. Now then, I'm trying to remember who came first. So the next person on the trip to her was my friend Jocelyn. And we went over to her house. We had the seeds. Now, she didn't make a tea like I did. She ate the seeds directly. And she ate about 300 seeds. So, I mean, that was a bit higher of a dose too than you're supposed to do. So we had a, like, there's an area down by, she lived in the country, we all lived in the country, and she has a little spot where, like, there were some trees that grew because there's a little lake river. So we would go down there and smoke, and that's where she took the seeds. And after about 45 minutes, an hour, they're starting to affect her, and she's like, I want to go back to my house. So we go back to her house. We're in there, and she gives us, I want to say they were pudding cups. Something like that. Pudding cups, or I think it was pudding cups, because we needed spoons. So we go and we ask her, like, hey, Jala, can you get some spoons? And she's like, yeah, I got you. Like, that says she got us. We're like, awesome. She turns around to her cabinet, opens up a cabinet, and grabs a fistful of plastic straws. I don't mean like one or two. I mean like literally like 50 plastic straws. Hands them, like, here you go, and walks away. And we're just sitting there like, what? Like, these aren't what we wanted. Okay. So anyways, we go get her again. We're like, we need spoons. Like, we don't know where anything's at in your house, bro. Like, please. So she goes and gets us the spoons finally and takes the straws. And she's like, why did I give you straws? You asked for straws. I'm like, we didn't ask for straws. Like, she was gone. Then she sat down to play Minecraft because they were playing Minecraft. She's like, oh, I want to play. She's on the start screen. It took her about 5 minutes to figure out how to get off the start screen and actually playing the game. And now, mind you, she played Minecraft, but this wasn't her first time playing Minecraft. This was her 1,000th time playing Minecraft. She played Minecraft pretty regularly, but she was just so gone off this Datura, she didn't even know. She's sitting there trying to figure out how to start. Finally gets it going. She's like, oh, so she starts punching trees and punching blocks. Like, whoa, you can punch blocks in this game? Every single thing she did in that game was mind-blowing to her. I mean, she punched a tree and she's like, whoa, you can do that. She broke ground. She's like, you can break ground. And then she, she punched a sheep, and she's like, oh my God, you can punch the sheep. Like, everything she did in the game was mind-blowing, but she wasn't getting anywhere. I mean, she was kind of struggling. I'm sure she was having a hard time seeing the TV too. Finally, so after like 30 minutes of her running around just being amazed by this game, we're like, she wakes her grandparents came home. They're kind of looking at her, and we're like, let's go to your room. So we go to the room, and now she just wants to sit on her phone at this point. So like, okay, so she's scrolling TikTok or whatever, Musically, I think is what it was at the time. And so me and my cousin are sitting there, and we're like, well, I guess we'll play some Pokemon, because we were really into emulators at the time. So we start playing Pokemon, and we're like, oh, I caught a Charizard. And she's like, shut up, don't talk about drugs, the walls are thin. She's like freaking out. And we're like, we're talking about Pokemon. She's like, oh, okay. And then we go, and like 5 minutes later, me and him will start talking about some other Pokemon. I don't know, like, trying to think of some names off the top of my head. It's been a while since I played Pokemon. We start talking about this happened seriously 10 different times that we would talk about a different Pokemon, like either one of us catching it or one of us leveling it, or, oh, I'm fighting one of these. And every single time she's like, guys, shut up, don't talk about drugs, these walls are thin. Like, she was so paranoid, and she had no clue. And we stayed with her until she started kind of sobering up and was like, I'm ready for bed. And then we went home. And then my final story is my cousin, because he wanted to try it after this. Like, he's like, everyone else has done it, I want to do it. So we got him about 300-400 seeds again. He ate them. And we had pizza this night. So we're trying to eat the pizza, and he started eating his pizza about 30 minutes after taking the seeds. And he did not get through his pizza because the cotton mouth started setting in. I remember him just going over to the trash can, just like spitting it out, and I can't eat this, it's too dry, everything's too dry. And like, he was getting all whatever. And we're like, oh, okay, you know. So we go get on the TV, start watching something, get him like chilling while he's tripping. And he's like, nah, so he goes and just lays on the stairs. And like, just on the middle of the stairs. So he's like halfway up, just laying at an angle. And he asked what it was. He's like, who's Morgan Freeman? And we're like, he's like an actor, a voice guy, you know who he is. Like, what do you mean? He's like, no, who is he? And I'm like, bro, like, I just told you. And he just wasn't getting it. So he got on YouTube. He started like just watching Morgan Freeman videos. And that's what he did for the rest of the night. He sat there till he fell asleep on the stairs. Once he fell asleep on the stairs, we were like, hey, bro, let's go to the room. We drive him over. He then proceeded to just lay on the floor of our room and sleep more. And we're like, get in your bed. Come on. Like, and he wouldn't do it. He laid there all night on the floor. So the next day, he starts looking at his watch history on YouTube. And he went down a rabbit hole of Morgan Freeman things. I mean, the last video he watched that really stuck with me was Morgan Freeman singing Love Yourself by Justin Bieber. And it was just Morgan Freeman in his voice just monotonely speaking the entire song. He thought it was hilarious. And he watched every single, like, seriously, he watched like 3 or 4 hours worth of just different things of Morgan Freeman talking and saying things all the way to the end, like literally like 4 hours worth of that nonstop. I mean, he got obsessed with Morgan Freeman on it. And the craziest thing was, he didn't remember any of it. So Jocelyn remembered hers. I remembered mine. Zeke did not remember his. He had no memory of that entire trip. The next day, he was like, I remember something kind of with Morgan Freeman, and I was like, yeah, right, you got really into Morgan Freeman. And then he started looking at his YouTube history. He was like, oh, whoa, I don't remember any of these. Like, none of the memory stuck with him, which was different than everyone else's. But yeah, no, I mean, it was an interesting time. If y'all guys like this video, you know, like, subscribe, and I have a bunch of other drug stories I could definitely share. I also could definitely go into more detail on how datura works, like the chemistry of why it makes you trip. I've done some research into it, so I won't be against sharing that with y'all if y'all are interested in that. Anyways, I think that's all for today's video. Yeah.